Good evening and welcome, everybody. It is our Tuesday, November 21, 2023 trade and market recap as we go into the Thanksgiving holiday in a couple days. Just a reminder up front today, we do have a webinar coming up tomorrow that you are not going to want to miss. So if you get a chance, I'll talk about it at the end and I'll post it down in the description as well. But you definitely going to join us tomorrow. So myself and Igor, who is the founder of Mr. Top Tick, we're going to just talk trading tomorrow. We're going to cover our different trading styles. We're going to cover a bunch of strategies. We're just going to talk trading tomorrow. You're going to find it an outstanding opportunity. It'll be at 1 o'clock tomorrow Eastern. We'll post a link to the Zoom meeting as well. So anyone is welcome to join tomorrow. Igor has forgotten more about trading than I will ever know. He is one of the best traders I have ever seen in my life. I have learned a ton from him. I'm not even 1/10 the trader he is. So just having the opportunity to learn from Igor tomorrow is an outstanding opportunity for you to jump in, see how he trades. He's got the, any of the 1-1 bear trap trades, his SPY put strategies, and a few other things that he does. Unbelievable returns. And the way he adjusts trades and understands the Greeks and how to adjust is out of this world. Just stuff I try to aspire to even learn from. So learn from the master tomorrow, and I'll be there as well to share. But if you get a chance tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern, jump into the Zoom room. Information will be in the description down below. To do that, we'll put a little bit more information out as well. But you're not going to want to miss that. It's going to be an outstanding session. You'll get a lot out of it heading into the holiday. So let's jump into the markets today. So the markets did a whole lot of nothing today. SPX down $9 on the session. Really a nothing day overall. Not a whole lot going on. I think people have already taken off for the holiday here, but down $9 on SPX. SPY down 99 cents. Just sitting here on the daily with a big X up here of indecision. We could see some reversal, but it's an inside day. We could go either way tomorrow. We could rip higher. We could drop lower. Who knows? But if you're taking a look at things overall on the weekly chart here, MACD and RSI rising. On the daily, MACD is dropping, but just so slightly that it's almost imperceivable. And RSI remains in an overbought state right now as we move sideways. Taking a look at the Bollinger Bands here, consolidating, opening, but maybe trying to rein it in here. But you've got some wide Bollinger Bands. We'll see if they can start to consolidate. But on the put side, some curve. On the upside, nothing yet. So you have some great volatility and some upward trending here that can continue for a bit on the market. So there's where SPY is. I'd love to see us come down to the 21 EMA, but it's coming up to meet us as opposed to us dropping down. Still way over the 3 ATR line for now 6 trading sessions, which is a long time, in my opinion, to be without oxygen outside of the space capsule here. I think you got to come back inside, get some air. All right, on the Qs, pretty much same setup, just down fractionally today, down 0.5% roughly on the Qs. MACD and RSI trying to roll over a bit on the daily, but still pretty strong on the weekly. The key here on the weekly, though, was we've been in a squeeze now for essentially 7 weeks, and then this week we're actually breaking out to the upside, which is a pretty substantial look. So we could have quite a bit more upside to go, especially on any pullback and go. Bollinger Bands opening up on the upside, 3 ATR opening up and higher. The Qs look still really strong, really good. If we're taking a look at IWM, the Russell, slightly down day today, down 1.3%. Not a big deal on the session after a massive up week last week. on the big gap up here. Just some consolidation, looking okay. Nothing major. It's off of its 3 ATR. So I think you could have some more upside as we just digest these couple weeks of gap, pullback, giant gap, and then just some sideways consolidation. I think still very, very constructive. Nothing out there looks overall too bearish as a whole. Looking at the VIX, I mean, put call still lower than the moving averages, pulling those down. Market's going to keep going up as long as that happens. VIX dropping to 1335, so VIX is just dropping off the face of the earth here. And then if you look at the US dollar on the session today, fractionally higher, 0.16. So it was down earlier in the day, finished up a bit. As it moved up a bit, the markets just kind of flatlined and just didn't do anything. Taking a look at the 10-year, up, or down, I should say down just fractionally on the day. TLT also just off the day. It was down a bit more early and then finished up pretty much where it opened on the session. So really nothing going on with TLT as it continues to consolidate here. Weekly still looks good on the move up, but the daily starting to get just a tad overdone on the MACD. It does not mean though that we can't keep moving higher on TLT. All right, looking at the futures trades here today, with the dollar up just fractionally. Yeah, the Aussie dollar just down a tad, the British pound up a tad, Canadian dollar up a tad, and then 60, the euro down on the session as MACD and RSI trying to roll a tad over from being a little bit overbought here. If we look at bonds here, just a little bit of a sideways to up day on the session. Broke a little bit above its 2 ATR and then couldn't finish above it. It's really just struggling with this resistance area, but it is moving through it slowly here. But MACD trying to roll over a bit. We'll keep an eye on it, but we've got a 112 trade on ZB, so we have no risk to the upside. So if it goes up, we're going to have a fantastic return. And if it pulls back in here at all into this uptrend or into this range, we could really hit it nicely. And right now that trade is up 41% in one day. So not too bad, 41% in one trading day. Annualize that thing. All right, CL on the day, taking a look at oil. Oil pulled back on the overall trading session today, showing just up a fraction in after hours. So it's still going, but for the most part, oil just sideways, taking a little bit of a break after a pretty good last 2 days of up days. Like what we're seeing, MACD on the daily is moving higher and trying to cross through, trying to cross over here through the zero line. RSI is heading higher. And then you see here on the weekly, the RSI trying to curl up for the last 2 weeks, while MACD continues to fall. So I still like where oil is. In fact, I liked it so much we put on another oil trade. Loving where oil is. Taking a look at gold. Gold up pretty decently today. So gold having a heck of a day, up by 20 points on the session, all the way back to this downtrend line that it had peaked above it and then failed at it, but above the 200-day moving average, above the 21, above the 50. They're not quite stacked, but they are, the 21 and the 50 are heading higher, with MACD and RSI on the daily heading higher. Gold could be getting ready for another run higher here, so something to keep an eye on. And then copper futures, after 2 pretty good-sized up days, just pulling back a fraction today, which is perfect for us. We have a 112 trade on copper. It's up 93% in 43 days. Love where we are on copper. And then we'll certainly take a look at live cattle here. And why would we look at live cattle? Well, because we have a trade on, and we put a strangle on in live cattle about 6 days ago. And if you look back 6 sessions to here, we are pretty much exactly unchanged in those 6 sessions. You got MACD rising, but RSI just flatlined here. The weekly's trending down a bit, but the daily's starting to trend up a bit, so we really like where we are. I think any kind of a gain in here on live cattle would be good. So we lost a bit on the day, but overall, we're doing really, really well, like where we are on live cattle. And then something to point out too is nat gas futures. Somebody brought this up in the Discord today. What's going on with this sell-off? You've had a pretty good sell-off from 3.6 to 2.86. That's a heck of a sell-off on it. So a pretty good move lower, almost 20% nat gas dropping. On the daily here, you've got MACD falling, RSI's falling. And then if we take a look at the weekly, you've got on this week, we triggered a bearish PSAR signal with MACD and RSI also falling weekly. So this, this has been a pretty good run to the bottom here. And I don't know that it's done. We could get a little bit further of a pullback. I think if we get some more pullback here, it might become an interesting 1-1-2 trade for us, mainly because we are heading into the colder months. The reason it's selling off is that it's not been that cold, and the projections aren't for super cold anywhere right now. So, and inventory levels are decent on nat gas. So you got good inventory, and it's not freezing out anywhere. So right now, that's just knocking it back down. We'll keep an eye on how things go on nat gas. If we take a look at the sectors today, only 4 sectors to the upside. You got healthcare to the upside. You got XLB, which is your materials. You got XLP, which is your consumer staples. And you got XLU, which is your utilities. So a lot of defensive sectors up on the session today, utilities and healthcare amongst them. The leading loser was semiconductors, which after the ridiculous move up that it's had, you've got a bit of a pullback on the session as you head into Nvidia earnings tonight, and we're going to check in on those in just a few minutes here. So we'll check in on Nvidia earnings and talk about what's going on there. But in anticipation of some really good earnings and great AI stuff, you've had a giant run in semiconductors, pulling back today. However, we'll take a look at Nvidia specifically in just a minute or two. Regional banks did drop on the session, but they've also had a pretty good run up. And then biotech pulling back a bit, but it's had a good run up. So just a little bit of normal pullback here. I think the whole market needs a break, but you're just not getting it in tech. Tech, even though it pulled back, it's just imperceivable, so small today. But MACD is rolling over on the daily, and the RSI has been overbought now since the 10th. So for 11 days, not 11 trading session, but 11 days. And then if it breaks below here of the overbought territory, I think you could get a pretty good pullback started here. I think one thing to consider is with Nvidia releasing earnings, and we'll get to that in just a minute here on Nvidia, but with Nvidia releasing earnings and the market's running up, there's really nothing else to look forward to here. And even though Nvidia earnings may be phenomenal, is it enough to keep pushing the markets higher? Or is all the news out? Maybe Nvidia, we get a little pop, maybe we don't, but maybe it's a sell the news type of thing. We'll see. We are overextended, but most things in the weekly are still in a decent bullish mode on the indexes. So we'll see what happens. Let's take a look at some of the stocks today. Apple, a little bit of a down day today. And then Microsoft here, a little bit of a down day today. Amazon, a little bit of a down day today. Here, Meta, a bit of a pullback, but it's still nice, nicely needed here. Google, which we touted yesterday. I've been showing this chart to members. I think Google has been an opportunity. It's one of the better opportunities, and it was actually up today as well. Now, Nvidia did pull back on the session. However, despite Nvidia revenue out, it is not performing well in after hours. In fact, it is down 5 points, which is nothing. But Nvidia is down after hours despite a giant revenue beat. So Nvidia revenue surpassed the analyst projections for revenue and for income for the fourth quarter. Demand for their graphic chips exceeding supply, and announcing a new GPU. So the only thing here is we're moving down in the extended trading session, despite pretty good earnings beat. And I warned about this, that, hey, on this run up, I mean, what's left to go on Nvidia? I mean, I'm not saying tomorrow it's going to open and tail off hard, but earnings came out well ahead of expectations. Revenue, $2 billion ahead of the $16 billion expectations. I mean, really good headline numbers. But you had a lot to try to beat here. I mean, you had a run up from 400 to 500 before earnings. So I think it's just an exhausted run. We'll see what happens. Do we get continuation to the upside? Maybe. I think just a little pullback is needed. But if we look at the weekly, you've been in a squeeze now for 8 straight weeks. So in a squeeze for 8 weeks, look how long this thing has just been up. Really, if you go back to July, this thing has just been in this range from 400 to 500 to 400, back up to 477, back to 400, back to 500. So can Nvidia break this range and run another 100 points to the upside? I certainly expect it to, but I would think you've got to really start to listen to what they're saying about the next steps. And then some other news today too. I believe the Fed came out and made some comments as well, saying that they are going to stay restrictive in policy. So everybody that thought, oh, this is, they're going to cut. They're going to cut their rates. It's not what they're saying. They said they're going to stay restrictive. So the market sold off a bit on that news, and maybe a little of this euphoria that the Fed's going to start cutting rates early next year. I'm not sure that that's the case. There's no reason in my mind for the Fed to cut rates. I just don't see it happening. So because of that, where's your TLT got to go? TLT's down because the Fed said they're not cutting rates. They're going to stay restrictive. It's had a good run, 82 to 90. That's not a bad run, 8%, 9% in really like a 4 or 5 week period. But then where you got to go now? If the Fed's not going to cut, okay, and when they put their meeting minutes out, the Fed shows no indication of possible rate cuts, okay, at all. So there's no indication they are planning on cutting rates anytime soon, and policy will stay restrictive until inflation treks back to the 2% goal. So based upon that, all of you that thought TLT was going to like 6,000 or whatever the heck you thought it was, well, maybe you were hopefully you caught the bounce. But if you were getting in back here and averaging down from 100 to 96 to 94 to 90, you're back to even. If you're in here early in the low 80s, okay, you've made some good money, but where are you going to go now? Okay, you're starting to get, in my opinion, a tad overdone to the upside on TLT. It doesn't mean it can't continue to move up, but I think if you're planning on this being a 200 bagger, you may have some problems. All right, let's just jump into our account on the trading session today and take a look at where things are. And here's our account on the session for 11/21. Delta right now 104, so great delta, very delta neutral. Love where we are. No reason to really hedge here. No reason to do much of anything. We're super delta neutral, so we'll take advantage of that. Theta now 1146, so we got some additional theta going. And one of the ways we did that was we added a new oil 112 trade today. So adding some more theta to it, taking us up really to the 0.35, so almost a 0.4 that we need to. A new all-time high, so fantastic. Finally hitting the new all-time high on the account, 331, 310. In fact, it's actually 331, 682 when things settled today. I'm going to take it and I'm going to stick it there. 331,682, new all-time high in the account on the year. BP has continued to drop itself down a bit here as we hit 196 or so and change. So 197 and change, 60% of which, 59% of which 9% of that is in BIL treasuries, so that we can continue to earn some of that nice 5% annualized on our $2,500 or $25,000 margin for $100,000 worth of bill. We had a small gain today, $105. That $105 came from closing the naked puts on an FB 112 trade. So the FB trade is a very low credit, almost no credit trade, built to act as a hedge. And we use a very low, very cheap naked put that we sell. So really, we don't net much when we close those. It's now just a big PDS, so a big put debit spread that's just sitting out there. If the market pulls back, got some juicy potential returns. So if we move higher, we're in good shape on our 112s and our naked puts. If we drop lower, we got trap money coming. So we're perfect exactly where we are. I love the way the account is set up right now. So there's the account on the session, and I will share what we're doing again on Zoom tomorrow. So if you take a look here, you've got the Zoom meeting. I will post this information down below in the description here on this, so you can see exactly what we're doing. But tomorrow, Wednesday, November 22, 1 o'clock, Igor and I are going to jump in and we're going to just talk trading. We're going to talk our different trading styles that we have, and we are different. We're going to talk some different strategies. We're going to talk just trading in general and have a good afternoon session with everybody. I definitely guarantee you're going to learn something tomorrow from one of the best traders I have ever seen. And then I'll be on there to add my 2 cents as well. So see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully join up in that Zoom session, free to everybody. So you're welcome there. We'll open it up to about 500 people and then we'll shut it off. But if you like this video, if you like what we're doing, if you're learning something here, please click the like button. Helps me out a little bit on the YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe if you are new to the YouTube channel and you want to see what we're doing. Click the like button. Let's subscribe. I just put out a great new video today. So if you're taking a look as well, you can jump in on a video on how I trade strangles. So check that video out today. If you would, check out the strangle video. Covers my entire strategy on strangles. It's mainly strangles on futures, how I'm trading it. You get a good sense of how that works. So check that video out as well today. If you like it, like it. And then if you want to join us in Discord, you've got now about 1 week left to use the Black Friday 40 off code. 40OFF is the code to join the Discord channel. Join us in the Mr. Top Tick Income Navigator service. Take 40% off your first month membership. Use the code. I think we had 200 openings. We're down to 100. So if you want to get in, I think after tomorrow and then on Friday, we're going to be getting close. And not a sales pitch. We just can't take that many more people. So we're going to cap it at 200 new members using the code. Join us. Get in the Discord. See what we're doing. Make some money. If you want to read some of the reviews, go on there and read some of the fantastic reviews and the testimonials that we have. Another great one here. Best service by a mile. Learn and continue to learn every day while achieving what I haven't been able to do on my own. Thanks to these guys, I soon will be. Totally worth the investment. It'll come back tenfold if you put in the effort on it. But we definitely want you to jump up here. Jump into Trustpilot. Read the reviews. Don't just listen to me. See what the members are saying. They're doing fantastic. We're doing great. We're having a ball, and we're all learning something new every single day. There are some ingenious member trades. I mean, there's some fantastic stuff guys are coming up with that is helping me. I'm looking to put on some new stuff that members are are putting out there. So you've got great experienced traders, Igor, Gabe, myself, Gary, and a bunch of others in there. And along with just hundreds of great members that have some really awesome things that they're doing in their account. So come and join us. That's enough for me. Enjoy the evening, and we'll see you tomorrow in the Zoom, 1 o'clock Eastern. Check the description for the link. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.